again to Doozer Shop. Kind of wanted to do a video on air conditioning and tell you a little bit about my setup that I think works really well. Let me go handheld and we'll show you what I got going. Alright, so I've got a Mitsubishi. Okay, and pardon, okay. I've got, you know, my dual saw and my other saw, and that's a box of sawdust for soaking up oil. Alright, so behind the dual is a Mitsubishi mini split, and it is 31,000 BTUs. And it's a heat pump slash air conditioner. And this thing is great. It's quiet, it works fabulous, and it is so quiet. Inside or outside, it's quiet as a whisper all the time. So I know a couple YouTube guys did a video on their air conditioning that's going in their shop, and I just wanted to show you mine. I learned about air conditioning by watching YouTube videos on how to install it and all this. And but anyways, my shop where this air conditioned space is 24 foot by 38 foot. And I put this in myself. Let me take you around outside and show you the outside unit, which is the condenser and compressor. You can get a tour of Doozer's stuff. Close the door. We're going on the back of the shop, out in the woods, and we're going to check out the outside unit. It's really nice back here. I hear birds, and so I've been cleaning up my wood from the you know, the ice storm still. I mean, I love my property. It's pretty quiet. Okay, so here's the back of my shop. Kinda, I know I'm handheld and shaky. Kinda give you guys an idea. Okay, so there it is, the Mitsubishi outside unit. Let me kind of go on this side. Yep. See some of the piping. And what the deal is well, let me go closer. Yeah. All right. So I got pipe on the ground, but so my shop has an overhang, 22 inches, and where the rain drips, and there's no gutter. But I made these brackets, if you can see them, out of 2-inch angle iron. Well, you know what? I'm looking down. No, the bracket's actually... there you go. So it's underneath those slats of wood. It's like kind of painted a green color, and it goes up behind it, so you don't see anything below. I'm like, why don't I see the below pieces? But there are none. So it hangs underneath the overhang. So if I'm going to line you up by line of sight. So the rain never rains on it, which is cool, because down here the mud, it will splash on your building and anything. So it's up there out of the mud. I got the two lines coming through. They make a circle. They come out of the valves. I got my, there you go, my power box, and my drain is coming down the wall and just goes on the ground. Now, the white piece is a feed through. It's a piece of I think 3-inch PVC that goes to the inside unit on the wall. So yeah, so I mounted mine, and it's, they call it Mr. Slim or something. I mean, look at that thing. That's like a foot wide. It's really nice and compact. But anyways, no problems hooking it up. And what I did do, I used argon, my welding tank, to apply 300 pounds of argon into the system to check for leaks. And if that holds on your gauge overnight without leaking out at all at 300 psi, then I purge that out with breaking it with a vacuum. And I pull a vacuum to the, whatever it is, millitorr, microtorr range. I think it's microtorr, I don't know. But anyways, you pull a vacuum and evacuate the argon. I mean, you can. They say use nitrogen. I didn't have nitrogen. I had argon. That's what I used, so it worked. Yeah, you pull a vacuum, evacuate all the moisture, and you do that by breaking it again with some nitrogen, or argon in my case, and you evacuate it again. And once it holds a vacuum overnight where it doesn't change at all, and it stays in that 300 millitorr or 500, I forget. But I got a digital set of Robinair gauges or something, and they're pretty accurate. So yeah, that's how I installed it. Now I know the I'm going to kind of pan you back. The ones that some other YouTubers are installing, I'll go back in the shop. They're pre-charged, and the line sets are pre-charged. Now my unit came pre-charged in the pump compressor, but the line sets did not have a pre-charge, and that's how they're getting away with not doing the vacuum and the pressure check. Is they got pre-charged line sets with like quick disconnect couplers on it, and that's how they're installing them so effortlessly, because you don't got to monkey around with the vacuuming and whatever. So, but it seemed like a good product. I think the name was Mr. Cool. I don't know if it's Mitsubishi. I think it is. Well, this is Mr. Slim. Maybe they make Mr. Cool. I don't know. But anyways, granted, I did have to own a really good oil-filled refrigeration vacuum pump and a really good set of gauges and manifold with the hoses. To do the pressure test and evacuation, and of course I had my argon from my welder that I piped in there at 300 psi, because I didn't have anything that was like 300. I mean, the old Craftsman compressor is like 100, 110 or something. But yeah, I used the argon to because you want to leak check it, I guess, first, and then pull your vacuum. Because 300 psi is a lot more able to check for integrity than minus 15 psi of vacuum, if that. So anyways, back to, yeah. So I did this by learning, started watching videos of this guy from Georgia. And gosh, I forget his YouTube channel, but I just started watching how he did it, and he explained it with the gauges and the vacuum, and I kind of, watched him a lot, and a couple other, they link you to the different videos on YouTube, and so I learned all about evacuation and charging, and yeah, I've since put up 2 more of these units, same ones, Mitsubishi. Exactly the same ones, the 31,000 BTU models, in my sister's house. She got a huge living room, like a church, and very 27-foot ceilings, and I put 2 of those in her house on a new build, so all the copper lines were in the ceiling and double insulated, so they wouldn't sweat and have condensation form on them. And yeah, these did great for my sister. And the thing is on. It's so the outside unit is as quiet as the inside unit, which blows me away. So the deal with Mitsubishi and these type of units is The compressor, I believe, flows through a single orifice. Single restriction orifice that blows down the pressure into the evaporator in here, which in turn absorbs the heat. But you know, it's not a thermostatic expansion valve. It's just a single orifice. Guys in the industry call it a piston, but it's an orifice. And the reason I think they call it a piston is it's like the piston part of a check valve, because when this thing goes from AC to heat mode, heat pump mode, I think the refrigerant reverses and flows backwards, and it's got to be a check valve type orifice. And they call it a piston because it's a metering orifice or jet or whatever you want to call it, but it's part of a check valve, so they call it the piston, which does not make any sense to me. Crazy stuff gets put into the English language and usage, and that doesn't make sense, and I think that's one of them. But anyways, they use a variable frequency drive to control the speed of the compressor motor. So it's a three-phase compressor running the Freon pump and pushing through a fixed orifice. Now, depending on demand, the VFD controls the speed of the compressor. It ramps it up, so it's not on and off like a digital, you know, on-off, like an American system, you know, where it's got a thermostat and it's got a hysteresis window of turn on, turn off. It's on and off in the American type system. With this Mitsubishi and others like it, it's a variable speed compressor. It's also a variable speed motor on the condenser that sheds the heat, which is kind of cool. It's on demand, all sensor driven, temperature sensors, whatever. The inside unit here with the evaporator that removes the heat or supplies heat in the winter has a variable speed fan also, and it's based on demand of the temperature of the evaporator. So these things kind of run all the time on real low. That's why they're always on low, so they're very quiet. And they're very efficient with the SEER rating, however they calculate that. But I just want to talk about, you know, these mini split systems. I know, is it Fujitsu makes them, and they say they have a Sanyo pump or something. And I think these, I don't know what pump they have. I know Sanyos are supposed to be good pumps, and I think Panasonic makes compressor pumps. Scroll pumps are more efficient than you know, vane pumps or whatever the heck they use. But I'm gonna give it my opinion and say, any of you guys with a home shop and you're thinking about a window unit for cooling, don't do the window unit because it's loud as can be. These are absolutely silent. You can hear a train in the distance with this thing running, and I'm not kidding. And like I say, I'm in the south, so heating and in the wintertime was something I wanted to. And it does great. Even in the wintertime, my shop is insulated. Insulate your shop, guys. If you build it, don't use 2x4s, use 2x6. More insulation. I got 11 and a quarter inches of insulation in the ceiling. Seal it up, and man, don't look back. Life is short. Spend the money on something that's going to make you comfortable, and that's air conditioning in the summertime. And up in the northern, heat in the wintertime, get a heat pump. But, you know, I'm not in bed with Mitsubishi at all. But I know they kind of originated these mini split systems, just like, you know, Honda pretty much originated. Anything Honda is good with a, you know, small engine, starts every time. So I wanted to go with, you know, the innovator and the leader, Mitsubishi. Like I say, I got no bones in this. I'm just happy with their product. But home shop guys, I highly recommend, you know, a higher end split system, not a cheap one. But buy what you can afford, and I love mine. I hope you maybe buy one.